video, I'll be discussing a few finishing techniques that you could use to complete your cross-stitch projects. The first method involves a frame. You can find frames at craft stores, home goods stores, thrift stores, or you can repurpose a frame that you might already have at home. This is a shadow box frame that I got at a craft store. This is what the back looks like. It's not super pretty, but once you have the covering piece, you're not going to notice. It's stretched across a piece of cardboard, but you can also use mat board or foam board. Foam board is what's typically used if you were going to have this done professionally. So you want to center your piece on the piece of board, and then on the backhand side, what you'll do is you'll use a sewing thread and start by creating a cross pattern. So you're going to bring your needle back and forth, first in the middle back and then in the middle top. And that creates kind of a secure cross, getting your initial tension correct on the piece. And then you'll just use your needle and thread and catch the fabric up and down, coming from the middle out and then the middle out. It's going to use a lot of thread, so rather than tying a knot and starting a new piece in the fabric each time, you can actually just tie on to previous threads as you go. So once you've done one entire direction, you'll do the same thing. From the middle, you'll come all the way down, and then again from the middle, you'll go all the way up. And that way you create a nice even tension, and you'll check in with the front of the work as you go to make sure that you're not skewing the fabric in any way. Another technique that you can use is taking a piece of scrap fabric or another piece of fabric and putting a backing onto your project. This can be done to make a patch or a bookmark. Like you can see here, I've used some material that I found at my home, an old shirt that had stains on it, and I made a bookmark by sewing it to the piece, and then I added a tassel. So you can find it in your book. The way that you do this is by turning the edges under on both the scrap fabric and also your project. So you create a clean edge going all the way around. Here I can show you what that looks like turned under and then lined up. I used pins that I had at home. You're going to want to make sure that this is lined up correctly. You can also use clothespins to pinch these into place. If you don't have sewing pins, those will work as well. And then I used a piece of sewing thread and just am basically looping. It's got a little tangled. Looping this around using the cross-stitch fabric as a guide. So I'm just going to be creating, because the fabric is, or the thread is white, it's pretty much invisible, going all the way around. So I would just hand sew all the way, and then when I get to the edges, you just tuck them in and sew the outer edges together. This actually goes pretty quickly. And creates a nice clean look. So I would finish coming all the way down to the bottom edge, and then when I get over here, turn under the last side like so, and turn the cross-stitch fabric under as well, and sew up the last side using some clothespins or sewing pins to come all the way up to the top. And so that would give me a completed patch that I could put onto a jacket or a favorite tote bag, or something else more creative that I haven't even thought of yet. There are also ways to get cross-stitch professionally finished and framed, as well as a lot of other techniques that you can find online. So don't be afraid to do a little deep dive into the internet and come up with some more creative ways to finish your cross-stitch projects.